Hi, are you sometimes guilty of catastrophizing and amplifying a problem, going to the OMG of life? Hi, I'm Gordon Young from the Institute of Applied Psychology. If you do that, it's because of a very simple cognitive distortion that we all run, and that's called a globalization. When we globalize, our brains try to give us a larger lesson from the context. If we have a problem with one or two people at work, our brain wants us to avoid the space, so it will say we're having problems with people. It could go as far as to say, nobody likes me. Everyone's against me. And so one of the problems we have is our brain amplifies and expands the problem in an attempt to try and get you away from dealing with it. So we use something called a universal quantifier. A universal quantifier is everyone, no one, so, always, all the time, everywhere. When you say something like your partner never listens to you, that's not true. They listen to you sometimes. They don't necessarily listen to you around particular topics or around particular ways of communicating, but they listen to you sometimes. And every time someone comes through my door, they have globalized the problem. And when you globalize the problem and you say something like, I'm not good enough, that makes no sense. You can't be not good enough. The question is, in what way? According to whom? In what specific way are you not good enough? The generalization doesn't need to have any evidence. At the end of the day, the globalization makes the problem intractable. You cannot solve a problem of nobody likes me, or I'm not good enough, or I can never be who I want to be. The trouble is that when you make the problem intractable, then it just tends to spin and regurgitate in your head, and you'll never be free of it until you start to recognize that your own language has amplified the problem to a point where you cannot resolve it. Your own internal language is part of how you create and maintain a problem. So when you keep expanding the problem and amplifying it, the problem becomes bigger in your neurology. And whatever you focus on, you tend to get more of. You want to say that nobody cares, nobody listens, everyone's against you, then you're going to live a life as if that was actually true. But for most people on the planet, that's just never going to be true. So start to notice your own internal dialogue. Notice if it's helpful or if it's actually taking you in the wrong direction. But here's a thought for you. If you don't have the skill to step away from those thoughts and pull them up, and most of the time, if it's fairly low level, we can do it. But when it gets into crisis mode, if you don't have the skill to change them, then it's a skill worth learning. And it's very learnable. There are techniques and tools that you can use to pull away from a thought that doesn't serve you, to do something that's referred to in the literature as compartmentalize, and to be able to park it. Now, wouldn't that be a great skill to have? To know that any thought or feeling you have, if it wasn't serving you, you could just park it. Well, it's available. You just have to go and seek it out.